There you go. Well, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Scrap Time. We have Major 3 coming up. It's do or die for a bunch of teams at the bottom of the standings. And always, we have a talented crew to break everything down, do a little bit of a bracket prediction, as well as talk about some early award chatter and off-season talk. So let's dive in. As always, I'm joined by the wonderful human turd himself, Mr. Sam Octane, the multi-game champion, former OpTic legend, former 100 Thieves legend, Mr. JKap, in the top right, a man that is on fire with his NHL picks right now.
Wait, can we back up with a multi-game? Where's that going? Is that, I was like just COD?
Yeah, multi-title.
Okay.
Like I'm going with the multi-title.
Multi-game.
I thought you meant multi-game.
And then Cal also made a face about the OpTic legend thing.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought he was still talking about Sam. He said OpTic 100 Thieves legend. Was Sam an OpTic legend?
Yeah,
for the wrong reasons. For the wrong reasons,
For
Cap.
the
For the wrong reasons.
It was like Sam's
I'm infamous.
stint on OpTic was
Oh
rough.
my god! For the
I
wrong.
abandoned LG. For
Listen,
no
you
reason.
got set up, bro. If you
I
guys
did get
had
set
actually,
up.
if Tom had actually gone to the team, you guys were good.
I got set up.
You got
It's
set
okay.
up.
Hi, Chelly. Sorry for ruining your intro.
No, it's all good,
Okay.
man. I never get gassed. It's all good. It's all
Chelly,
good.
you're so
I was giving
fucking
you a good guess.
You're
wise.
killing your bets, bro.
Chelly, you're so
I'm
wise
joking.
and good looking in your OpTic hoodie, man. How's hockey, Chelly? Break down the playoffs for us. Give us a synopsis. Break it down.
Ovechkin is cementing his legacy even further, even after game one.
Did a great game yesterday, Chelly. Great game.
An underdog hasn't won yet this entire first 3 days of the 3 days of the playoffs. An underdog hasn't won yet.
Oh,
Like the
wait,
lower
wait,
seeds.
the Oilers almost did it yesterday. I didn't watch
Oilers
that
almost did it, yeah.
the third period yesterday, but I was drunk.
I think we get an upset tonight. Maybe the Panthers win on the road, or Ottawa probably takes one off Toronto.
Who's winning the cup?
Watch it be the Devils, bro. Watch it be none of those.
The Hurricanes winning the cup, Chelly? Is that what you said?
That's why I have Carolina winning the cup.
Okay.
Someone said Stars and Avs are 1-1, but we're
I guess the Stars were underdogs yesterday. That's true. It's good calm.
There you go.
the game was good. But yeah, I mean, Chelly, obviously outside of that, you played with me in a tourney last week. I know we didn't do a show last week. That was pretty fun. Other than that, what have you been up to?
I don't know. I've just been trying to get you on ranked play more. I've been
I'm
grinding
waiting
more
for that
ranked.
content. Not to
Yeah, I'm
interrupt,
trying
but I'm waiting
to
for that
get
content.
bet on that Call of Duty grind, but that's going to take some convincing, it seems. And then I don't know. I've been playing a lot more ranked play. I'm trying to get better. I feel like I have potential to be pretty solid at this game, but I jump around like I like to do what JKap does and what Ben does, where they just go game to game and they're really, really good, but never amazing at that game. Because I feel like
I've been amazing at
Cap,
playing
am I
games.
wrong? Like when you don't play a game for 8 hours a day,
I don't know. Cap's pretty amazing at Rocket League. I'll give him that.
what's your
Not
rank, Cap?
amazing at Rocket League.
To me,
Pretty
you
good.
are. You're in the air. It's amazing.
It's amazing when the threshold's low.
You know who's actually disgusting at Rocket League, and I always like hear him gas himself, is Tommy. Tommy is
It's got
No,
good.
Tommy's gotten really good.
he's actually really fucking good at Rocket League. It's crazy.
Joe Deceives is insane at Rocket
Yeah, I've seen
League.
Joe play too. Joe's really
And
good.
then Braxton, the team speak. Have you ever seen him? He's also insane.
Braxton's good?
Yeah, he's really good at
Of
Rocket League.
course he is. That
I
guy's a
didn't know-
god gamer, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say Braxton's a great
Braxton's
gamer.
a god gamer.
Speaking of games, Sam, I know you've been playing some ranked play, playing some Warzone. Has just been COD for you the last week or so?
So the Oblivion remaster got announced today. I'll be playing that later.
And released. Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, in release. I'll be playing that on stream. I've abandoned multiplayer ranked. I've been playing pretty much Warzone exclusively for the last couple weeks. What else have I been doing? I've been playing RuneScape. The new RuneScape just came out. And then other than that, kind of just chilling. Not really doing anything else.
Yeah, I might get
Been all over the
into
place.
Oblivion. I gotta get. It's on Xbox Game Pass, right?
It looks so good, dude. It looks so good.
It was a great game back.
I'll
in the
get
day.
into it.
And Cap, I know you've been playing some Rocket League. You guys were obviously on that PEX grind. What else have you been up to?
Not much as far as games go. Rocket League, PAX. That's about all I got right now. I don't know. I'm past my big time gaming phase, I fear.
I've been trying to get you
Getting
back on
old.
clubs, but like we just can't.
Clubs is just so minimal dope, Ben.
We might need to play rematch. Have you seen the footage of that game?
I have seen that. That looks pretty fun.
I got enough codes for the FIFA squad.
Do
If
you?
you want to dabble, yeah.
Could be down to dabble with that.
We'll hold off on that till next week when Shane gets back from Florida. And
Yeah, Spence is
I
gone
assume
too.
Spence is gone too.
What
Mhm.
are they doing?
What?
What are they doing in Florida?
Yeah, what are they doing? Oh, there's a major.
this
Sorry.
guy was
I don't
trolling.
think about COD, bro.
I I'll say this about this major.
I don't think about COD as I'm on a
Spence
COD podcast to talk about.
Spence is missing our flag football game tonight, bro. And he's a quarterback.
No. And your quarter was who's
He's
going
my
to sub in a
quarterback.
quarterback then?
Probably this other guy. I don't know. We'll see. We're pissed anyway.
Fucking Spence.
So this event's going to be a little bit weird. Have you guys seen the venue that they're using for this event?
I don't know what that shit looks like.
It's
Is it a convention center?
No, it's a. I'm gonna show you a picture of it. If you go to my stream right now,
Hold up.
this is what it
Oh.
normally looks like for basketball games. So it's not like a massively huge.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, it's not like a massively huge basketball. You know, some of these
Oh, it's
college.
at FAU?
It's at FAU. Yeah, some of these college arenas are fairly sizable. This one
They're
is
in a
not.
gym?
Yeah, they're basically in a slightly better version of a gym. Yeah.
Wait, I'm confused. Is this layout not changing at all? Like for the people just listening, it's pretty much a basketball court and like it's a little bigger than a high school gym, I'd say.
Yeah, it's probably 20. I mean, looking at it, what it stands for, it's probably 25 rows deep on either side wing. I can't see if there's seating. I don't think there's seating on either side. I think it's like a. Like I see it. There's like a balcony.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, this is the venue.
Thank God I'm not going.
We'll see how they lay it out. But
Oh my God.
but I
They
think
gotta like take out the flooring, right? Like there's no way they're just playing at like literal like high school.
well,
Oh,
they'll probably
half
deck
the
over the
project,
flooring and they'll like
yeah.
yeah. But like
That's criminal.
either way,
Just have the baskets down. They have the
baskets down. You see,
The commercial break is, like,
Brandon just
free throw
Brandon just
competitions.
runs out there and they start playing fucking layup lines.
God, bro. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see how Mutineers, EFG, like the league house venue will get laid out, but I'm curious to see how it looks on broadcast. So it looks like ticket sales have been good. Obviously, it's not a big venue. So it looks like it may be full. And to be honest, if it's full and loud, like it could be intimate enough where it sounds great on broadcast. And you know what I'm saying? But like, definitely,
we
is,
got
you know what I'm
we got
saying?
a good source from Guy in chat.
What's the guy
Because he
in
went to
chat?
school there. It's bigger in person.
Bigger in person. Okay.
I
Well,
use that line a lot too.
Same.
bigger in... Sure. Whatever. Anyway, none of us will unfortunately will be there this week. I think me and Sam will be at Major 4.
I'll be there too.
Probably not.
Yeah, you got
will
that.
be.
You
I
got
probably
that
will be.
thing.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
But we can get you travel from the thing.
potentially. But I
It's up
also
to
have
you.
that thing, and then I also have vacation like a day after I get back too. So
We can figure it out.
Yeah.
If you can't go, it'll be sad. We'll miss you, but it is what it is.
okay, Benja.
All right, well, let's move on. The plan today, chat on this podcast, we have one piece of news I want to talk about. We're going to do a bracket prediction, and then we're going to go through some early award predictions, because no one's really started that convo, and there's a couple of interesting ones to be had. The only piece of like topical news to get into, and someone's asked a question about Flank a DreamHack. I'll probably have more information next week on that. The one piece of topical news right now in the scene is earlier this week, we were doing an episode of The Flank on Monday, and Mr. Tommy Zuma, Leakma, some might say, let slip that there were apparently 2 Saudi orgs that are now circling the CDL, potentially to replace some existing teams in their spots. And JKap Hale put out some tweets today. He thinks that Twisted Minds is one of those. And another one, and correct me if I'm wrong, pronouncing this correctly, Al Qadisa. I don't know if someone chat can double check if that's
Is that
right.
like a football
Yeah,
org or?
Yeah, it's a football
I'm not
org. It's
super
over
familiar with
esports
anyone else on
program.
Falcons or Twisted Minds.
yeah.
Those are the only 2 I know.
But there's been a big explosion of Saudi esports teams the last year and a half. Like obviously because there's a lot of investment now and they're really trying to lean into it. I guess my reaction to the squad is kind of, what are your thoughts? Do you think it really dramatically changes kind of the landscape of CDL? And then I have another piece of intel I'll kind of move the conversation to. We'll start with you, Sam.
For me, it's kind of just intentions on them coming in, because like I am obviously biased towards the endemic organizations from COD, so I'm always gonna rather have them. But it just depends on the intentions of the Saudi orgs coming in. Like, are they gonna do what the Falcons did and try to bring homegrown talent from MENA in, or are they just gonna come in and drop a bag because they have monopoly money and like try to just build super teams? I mean, we've seen one side of the spectrum with Falcons this year, and that just did not pan out very well. And I have to imagine that going forward, that idea, now that Falcons at least tried it, is probably scrapped. But I don't. It depends. Like, is Saudi going to come in and just be like this faceless entity that just like wants to have their name everywhere, so they just buy players with no like ties to the scene? Are they going to try to be relatively supportive, like how we saw with Challengers and Falcons, when Falcons was I don't know the owner's name, but he was offering to help pay for Challenger events this year with OpTic.
That's right.
Yeah, it depends on how they feel about COD and what they do when they get here, if that is going to be the case. So I'm going to reserve judgment because I truly don't know what direction they want to go.
Gab, what do you think?
Well, I was assuming that they would come in and just be spending money, which, I mean, I guess Sam is right with his point, but my assumption is that they're spending money, which I think would be a great thing, because it means if you have more teams willing to pay top dollar contracts, all of a sudden these players are going to have to make some decisions like, hey, do I want to maybe take a pay cut for this team? But ideally, you'll get more talent spread out across more top teams rather than the kind of condensed version we've seen these past few years, where it seems like all the top talent is on 3 or 4 teams.
Wait, what's your reasoning for that?
If they're spending money and there's more orgs, more teams spending money.
Well, isn't if like the median average go up, then the same situation would occur?
If the median,
or if more money, if like money is no longer like the thing that drives people to orgs, but if everybody's spending money, then like wouldn't the talent distribution still be relatively similar?
I mean, if it's 2 more teams though, we're going from, what is it, 3 orgs now who are paying like top dollar to it'd be 5. I think that's
Might be more.
a big difference. And now these top players,
it's more than 3, I think. Because like OpTic spends good money, LAG is willing to spend cash, Falcons willing to spend cash, LAT is willing to spend cash, and then I guess the other orgs depending like when you can. Yeah.
So I LAG. So maybe there's 4 right now, but I think it makes the roster decisions for the players tougher. Like, do you want to chase your bag? Do you want to form God squads for maybe a little less salary? Then again, that could be wrong if Saudis just come in with true monopoly money and just offer like $1 million contracts. Then
I don't think they'll do that.
I don't think they'll do that either, because I think that's just a little too ridiculous. But I don't know what their pockets look like. I just know it's a lot.
Right now, the way that like say Falcons with the Nico stuff and all of that, like they pay above market price, but like essentially $1 more. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going out here and offering 200% like bumps. They're paying what they need to pay to get people locked in, because it's still a business and they want you know what I'm saying? They want to make it work. I think the funny balance that's going to happen is that, and then I'm curious your thoughts on this, Chelly, is like you're going to have a lot of mid-pack players getting potentially high salary options, and those players could potentially be susceptible to, we saw a lot of them are for 2019. They're collecting a check.
That's what I was just about to compare it to.
Effort decreases.
That's what I was just about to compare it to.
So what are your thoughts on that, Chelly?
You think they like the Patrick Akes method, just collecting a check and just dipping, or what do you mean?
Well, I mean, just some of those players just don't know how to handle that situation. Like what, like do you think it's the Akes thing, or do you think it's just like you're gonna have young players who aren't winners getting presented with that level of money, and they may just take their foot off the gas, and then the trajectory of their career kind of goes in that direction?
I'd love to hear an example of a player you think could be in that situation, just so I can kind of wrap my head further around, because I just want to know like what player you're thinking of, or what, give me like a situation.
Honest players I think could potentially be in that spot. Kyle Cramp, Snoopy. If C9 blows up, Snoopy's available off of Boston. One of these one of these big money orgs coming in are going to look for that premium aggressive submachine gun position. If one of those guys isn't going to say a Vegas or an LAG, which I do think they'll probably be entertained for at some level, they end up on these next level of teams, they're probably going to make top dollar. But those guys got to keep the effort level that's getting them to the spot they're in now.
I mean, yeah, I don't think they're going to take the foot off the gas once they get a payday. I think when they have that type of money coming in, you can build you give Snoopy the keys if that's the player you want to put in the situation, and he builds his roster. He should pretty much have anybody he wants out of the top 20 players that aren't on Thieves, OpTic, or any of the other top 4 teams. So I think you're putting a player in that situation. There's no reason that they should kind of start to fall off, as long as they have their first pick on the players that they're going to be on their team, because that's what it sounds like they're going to do. and to Sam's point, I think he makes a good one as well. These guys are getting like they come in, they think that they're going to have a Saudi locked team, and then they have to make the change. It has to happen. And I think that if they add 2 more Saudi teams, they're going to just kind of repeat what they saw with the Falcons and bring in players that are not Saudi and that are going to give them the best chance to win, because the league needs to be competitive if you want ratings to stay high. I don't know about you guys, but I honestly was playing video games, doing something on the side whenever the Falcons were playing at the beginning of the season, bro. We can't have that repeat. So
I agree, and I don't think it will repeat, because I think Falcons kind of came in and laid the groundwork a little bit on. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious what they needed to do, but like they just saw the trial and error. So I think with teams coming in, they'll probably avoid that. What I will say though is I want more MENA challenger teams to compete in North America, because I think just growth around the region is good in general for COD. It always will be. But I think Exton has been great. I think he's like a good bright point for the team. So like they see that there is talent to be developed in MENA. But I think if those 2 orgs do come in, I want them both to potentially field Saudi Arabian teams. I think it could be cool, or at least MENA.
Yeah,
I think it could be cool.
There's some interesting, more knockdown ideas. One thought I had was like, because I know that they're trying to build out this local Saudi COD league. It's like you do a little bit of a world tour on it, right? When you have these major weeks, say in Florida or Dallas, come through and do a LAN split on like Wednesday or Thursday on the off days of the event and get some exposure for those guys and people attending local. Like, I think there's some good path to growth in that MENA region, because it's not just outside of Saudi. You know, when we were on the ground there, I was talking to people passionate COD in Lebanon and Israel and Egypt and stuff like that. So you'll start to see that growth. Qatar. I think an interesting thing, I talked about this earlier on stream. So after Tommy dropped his fucking intel bomb earlier this week, you know, I was like, okay, let me make sure that Tommy's, you know, not bullshitting here. So I asked around to people who are part of teams now, potentially some people out in, you know, in the world who would be on one of these orgs. There definitely is some smoke here. One interesting thing that was brought up, and it makes sense contextually, when I saw this tweet from Adam Adamu earlier this week, when he was kind of doing a Q&A on X, on Twitter, and he was asked a question, because Adam Adamu, if you know or don't know, is the CEO of Overactive Media, parent company of KOI, big Spanish org, and Toronto Ultra, was asked about the situation with Ultra not being branded KOI, not all the mergers have happened. And Adam mentioned that right now the CDL is city-based, but if they switch to endemic names, they may rebrand Toronto Ultra. Now, someone I talked to, and then another person I asked kind of backed it up. I was like, he mentioned, look, if these Saudi orgs are coming in, I don't think that they want to create new intellectual property. So they think that there is, this person thought that there is probably now a lot of leverage or momentum for the league to finally do what's been rumored for a while, which is either completely ditch the city-based names or give teams the option to go in either or way, right? You can either use your parent company branding, or you can use the city-based names. Another person I spoke to actually went even further and told me that that is actually up for discussion, and that we should get some news soonish if they do decide to go in that direction. So it sounds like those conversations are happening in the background, and if it does go in a direction where the teams and the league, and I don't know the process on how like the team participation agreement, which is like the league charter, is modified. It sounds like potentially by the end of this year, maybe before champs, we'll find out that now the city-based names are out of here. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Thank fucking God. You needed Saudi Arabian teams to come in to tell you or figure out that what everyone's been saying since 2019. I don't know, man. Seems a little weird.
Yeah, I don't know. There's the city branding was a good idea. Maybe you get like some local fans, but I don't think it's really panned out that way at all. So you might as well just return it to its roots, where you just have these online communities, these different teams, core fan bases, and they can just, you know, support that team in multiple games rather than all this gaze different branding.
I think it hurts discoverability. Like kind of because Ben brought up Adam Adamu's tweet. It hurts discoverability when you go from, we'll use Koi as an example, from watching Koi in League of Legends, and you're like, you become a fan of their organization, and then you're like, oh, what other esports are they in? Oh, they're the Toronto Ultra and COD. Like the disconnect, it's very hard to follow a lot of times, and most people probably don't even know the parent organizations of the teams in the CDL outside of obviously like FaZe and OpTic or whatever. Like a lot of these orgs are owned by people that like old Florida was owned by Misfits. Probably zero fucking people knew that. Rogue before, you know, they're gone now. Like there's a lot of organizations that people probably just had no clue about in COD. So I think going back, LG for Seattle. I think going back, it's like we saw kind of a glimpse of it with EWC last year. I brought it up on the flank the other day. Like we see G2, we saw C9, we saw OpTic Gaming, we saw FaZe, we saw 100 Thieves. Like these are orgs that people can grasp and gravitate towards, as opposed to LA Thieves, as opposed to fucking all these teams that no one gives a shit about because they're one-offs.
Yeah, and either you guys want to expand on that, or are we good to move on?
Get rid of the cities, bro. Stupid.
Horrible idea from the start.
They're playing in Texas anyway, man. Like most of them are playing in Texas.
If it was utilized well, the city-based thing, I think it could be cool. But there's such few examples, and they're few and far between in the CDL where like activations within the cities themselves. Like Old Rocker was doing it with like the watch parties and like the meetups and stuff. They were doing a pretty good job of it. But there's such few activations within the actual cities to justify the franchise system.
I think what will happen is that if I had to make a prediction, and this is based on as well asking around, the people I've talked to think that they'll split the difference. They'll give teams the option of either, if you're 100 Thieves, if you're OpTic, the Atlanta FaZe one's a bit of a weird situation. Give them an opportunity to then become 100 Thieves, OpTic Gaming. But some entities like, say, Seattle, Vancouver Surge, may decide to keep that branding. So we'll see. It solves a lot of problems. It solves problems for the Vegas Falcon situation, the LA Gorillas mates fucking thing.
That spot needs to be abolished, bro. Please just do gentlemen. Like get rid of the branding. Like it's actually cursed.
So we'll see if that happens. But again, there's a lot of momentum there. It seems like now, which I was surprised, but it's a W. So that's it on the news. I'm sure we'll have more news, roster mania stuff on the next episode. But let's get into it. Let's talk Major 3. As always, off the rip of these, we take a look at the standings. And it's an interesting spot going into this event. So here is your top 12 right now in order. Atlanta FaZe sitting on 360 points. Thieves on 310. So those two should be top 3 seeds minimum at this point. Toronto Ultra in 250 and Vancouver at 225 are two really good land performances away from testing those seeds. Carolina at 210. Save for champs, but they're starting to slip. And then we get to the real meat of the sort of race for the last couple of spots. Boston in 6th at 150 points. Miami at 140 and 7th. OpTic currently in the last champ spot at 130 points. And then on the cut line right now, Cloud9 105, Minnesota 100. And then LAG and Vegas 30 and 10 points respectively. Well, we'll see you guys in Riyadh. Who do you guys think, like, of the bottom 5 right now? Minnesota, Cloud9, OpTic, Miami, Boston. I assume you guys feel like Cloud9 and Minnesota, if they don't get minimum top 6, is probably completely chalked.
I think these standings are our champs teams.
Yeah. I mean, they could obviously have a good tournament, but I don't know what we've seen. 25 points at this point is a good cushion. Like, it's not a safe cushion, but that's like a bigger gap than we've seen in past years at this point. Usually those seeds are like way tighter.
The only thing I'll say, boys, you get 0 points if you get last, and you get 30 if you get 6th. And so all it takes is, and we'll take a look at the bracket. There's a world where everybody 6 through 12 could get dead last, I would think. And one of those teams at the bottom could win 2 series theoretically based on the draws. So I agree with you, Sam. I think likely Cloud9 and Rocker are chalked. But again, all it takes is OpTic getting dead last and Minnesota getting 6th, and suddenly everything to play for going into the last stage.
I mean, OpTic have to have a genuine horror of a tournament. They have to lose to Boston and Falcons back to back to get last. I was just
about to say, I didn't realize how big of a deal it was that they are starting in winners, but it's actually a massive deal.
They have to have a genuine horror of a tournament to get last. So they got the easiest bracket draw of any team here right now. So, I mean, if they get last, then I hope they don't qualify for champs because they don't fucking deserve to at this point. But I think Rockers Game 5 L's hurt them too much in the big picture. Having 3 Game 5 round 11 losses is just definitely pain. I think C9's getting rounded because they'll play Vancouver FaZe round 1. So I think they're staying at 105, and then obviously the other 2 are out of contention. So I think OpTic is going to qualify not because they're good, but because the other 2 teams are just in a worse spot.
Cool. Any other thoughts before we move on to the bracket prediction?
No, we'll speak more on it in the bracket prediction.
Cool. Well, let's pull the bracket. Where's my pick'ems? We're going to go through. We're going to fill this out. Debate. There's 4 of us, so chat. You guys will tie break if we get stuck anywhere in this sequence. All right, so if you are new here, the way the bracket works, on Thursday we get winners round 1. It's a 12-team double M tournament with 18 starting winners, 14 starting losers. It's a very stupid format, but it's what we got. We get winners round 1 on Thursday, losers round 1, and 1 losers round 2 match on Friday. We play up to top 4 on Saturday, and Sunday is the end of the tournament. So it'll be 4, 5, 5, 4 as far as the number of matches. So let's get into it. We'll start with the top side of the winners bracket. First matchup, we saw this on Sunday, and well, it was a one-way series. Carolina got Kentucky fried by Thieves. And you know what? Because Carolina didn't win a map in that series, the instant rematch against Thieves. Does anyone in this call right now think that Carolina has a chance in this, considering they've lost 4 straight against Thieves?
3-0.
I mean, it'd be very funny if this is the one they win. That's all I'm saying.
It would
Dude,
be.
if Thieves get upset
think-
round 1 by the Ravens, serious discussions need to
You
be
think
started.
there's a world where that happens?
I
though?
just
No, of
have
course
to
not.
say that I just have to say this. It is 1:45 p.m. and
Oh
we
my
all
God,
know the cheese. I'm gonna have to bring it up.
Thursday
no.
Thieves,
Oh,
Chelly?
This would be funny if they did.
Thursday Thieves?
I'm just saying, no, maybe not Thursday, but Thursday before 1 p.m. It's
Fuck.
a little hairy.
Sam,
This isn't the first game though, right, Ben? Sorry, did it cut you off? This isn't the first game, right?
I think it is.
145 is
Looks like it.
insane. Why does it not start at 1:30?
It should be.
I
don't know,
think
it's
it's got to be 1:30. I think it's like they fucked it up.
Yeah, I know it's 145. It is first
Or
match.
just assuming it's a quick series, they can just start at 15
Yeah,
minutes
just be
later.
like, fuck it.
Expect it to be
That's so funny.
Sam, you're a Thieves guy.
Mhm.
I know you said on the flank yesterday this is a must-win for Thieves. You still stand by it? Like, if they don't win this tournament, it's...
I think this
For the tournament,
they need to win this tournament. I think this is the worst phases looked all season going into it. They should have. I mean, obviously they were one round away, Major 1. They bombed out Major 2. Again, this is the phase or Thieves. If either one of them don't win this tournament, I would be pretty surprised personally. But I mean, this is the one to win for me. If you're Thieves, this is phases looks the weakest that they've looked all year. And they haven't dipped online. Like, this isn't like Thieves like performing poorly online and then showing up to the majors. They've been the same team all year online, which is 1A, 1B with FaZe, arguably better. Or they are better than FaZe online. So it's a purely effort and mindset thing when they show up to the events. So as long as they're locked in from Thursday to Sunday, I have to assume that they'll win this.
Cap, you sound surprised when Sam said that. What are your thoughts?
I just didn't know we were talking about the whole tournament. I thought we were just talking about the first match.
No, whole tournament.
I don't know, because I don't know. I think deep down they know they're a good team. So like, I still think if they lose this one, they could win next event or champs. I don't think it's like, oh, if they lose this, like they're gonna break mentally.
No, I don't think they're gonna break, but I think this is like the one for them to win.
Oh, I think to your point, it's the best chance because FaZe looks so weak. Like, but I'm like, if they lose this, unless they get bomb out again like last term, assuming they at least look good this tournament, even if they get like a second or third, but look pretty good. I mean, I'd still have faith in them to win one of the next 2. I just don't think it's a must win in that regard.
What do you think, Chelly?
I don't know. I think that if they don't win this tournament, I agree with Cap. I don't think their mental's shocked or anything. But with that being said, it would be super encouraging for them heading into champs or heading into Major 4. And then, I mean, these guys need to see one go through at this point. I know Ernie was talking about it. They had some mental lapses, just little things that they needed to fix. But I mean, I think that if they get over this hump and get this the dub, they'll be in a better spot moving forward. Obviously, that's not a hot take, but they need it. They really do need it. I know Sam and Cap are saying they don't really need it, but they kind of do need this.
No, Sam's saying they do need this.
Oh, Sam's saying they need it. Cap's saying they don't need it. My bad.
It's just, if not this one, then when is kind of my point. Like, this is the best opportunity they've had and the best setup going into a tournament. Like, if FaZe don't win this and LAT doesn't win this, like, hats off to whoever does, but there should not be a world in which the way that Thieves has been performing on the year and the way that FaZe has looked going into this major, that Thieves don't win this tournament. That's more my point. Like the disappointment coming from not winning this tournament and with the relative form of everybody else would be very surprising for me.
Yeah, I like, again, things could happen. Thieves getting a gritty one, it just doesn't break their way. I think at minimum, I want to see them locked in all 4 days. If like some bullshit happens, someone comes into Sunday and they're just unkillable, and Thieves lose to someone dropping a 1-5, then sometimes shit happens.
Yeah.
But like they just can't have a repeat of what happened last tournament where Thursday and Sunday they just drew a blank.
I think that doesn't happen though. I think that
I would hope
Shane,
it
with
doesn't happen.
Shane and Troy on it, like it's hard to fix at a tournament, like an effort thing. Being there, it is a difficult thing to do unless you're mindful of it the entire time. Like we were kind of there at Major 4 or whenever we won in MW2. We kind of had that talk mid-tournament. It's very hard to address an issue like that when you're like, it's tournament time. It's more of like a practice environment kind of thing to try to address. But I think the amount of time between the majors, having Shane and Troy there, like I know that they identified that as their problem. Nothing about their gameplay specifically was incorrect. It was just like the effort and what they were doing and the comms and the small talk and all that kind of stuff. So again, I have to imagine they show up to this event going 110 for 4 days. I have to.
I do want to make a note that their second round matchup most likely going to be Ultra, who they did lose to last Sunday.
And at the major before.
So this is going to be a big test for them in winners round 2.
Well,
I'm assuming it's Ultra.
Yeah, let's move on to that. Miami versus Toronto. Those teams played pretty recently.
Toronto 3-1 to Metals had a stinky.
Metals had a stinky. Miami are undefeated in S&D this split. So that was the one map they did win. It was a round 11 against Toronto. I probably have Toronto in this one. Probably same 3-1. Do you guys?
No, Miami's undefeated. They had 3-1 them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Miami just won a dealership round 11. Miami's like 5-0 in search. Despite.
What do we think the home crowd cheese is going to be like, Ben, for Miami?
I really don't expect it to be that crazy.
Nah, me neither.
It's like it's Boca Raton. Like I'm not expecting like a huge Miami Heretics like concentration of fans. I don't know. Like we're not in Madrid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
I could be wrong, but
No, there was. I remember in Spain there was a couple S&Ds that Lucky just waited for the crowd to start cheering when he hot bomb, and on Hossie, I remember that pretty clearly.
They would have it done to you, brother.
No, it's fair. It's fair.
I just don't. The one problem is I think Toronto's respawn looks really good. I just don't know what hard points is Miami going to beat them in this series. Vault, no.
No, they just lost in Vault.
Skyline is I mean, Toronto started to lose Skylines.
Maybe they will. They have kind of dropped form on. I feel like Vault's going to be in. It might be like a square up on a Vault hardpoint. I'm really, really high on Miami. I have Miami making Sunday, but the issue is that their entire team is dependent on Metals, which is an unbelievable amount of pressure. But the other three have shown me enough consistency to the point where, like, if Metals is having like an okay series, they have a chance to beat anybody. But it's just like that one factor is so important for their team, and that's why I have them lower than, say, Toronto or Vancouver right now. Because like we saw with Vancouver, this most recent series, I forgot who they played, but Nep had a pretty off series, and everybody else seemed to be able to have the ability to step up, and that's been a consistent thing too. Even when Nep isn't superstar, they're still winning series. In Toronto, everybody's stepped it up. Like Jamie's pulling out a sub, fucking getting turned now. Like Toronto's had a great late year resurgence. Toby, I also want to identify there. So I think just Miami have much more of a question mark for me as a roster than the other two do, and that's why I have them losing round 1.
You guys in on Toronto or in on Miami? What do you think, Chelly?
Oh man, I hate to bring Metals up again. I know Sam just did, but it's tough because he is consistently inconsistent. And when you have that problem on a team, it's really hard to get to a Sunday. I don't know what it is with him. I think that bringing in Super was it should honestly have helped him a lot because it was either Lucky or Metals, and now it's literally just Metals. So now you have all eyes on him to kind of just at least put up a 0.8. And when he's putting up like a 0.6, you're not going to win a series against a middle of the pack team, and that's going to separate you from the top 4 in the rest of the league. If you have a guy like Metals dropping a 0.6. So for me, the win condition for this team, and there are other teams in the league as well, I'll get to Cloud9, that if certain players have stinkies, which they have been doing consistently, you're not going to make a Sunday. So
I got Toronto here. I think Miami's had a good stage, but as everyone's been saying, Miami mainly medal is just too inconsistent.
If he's on though,
if he's on, they're the best team.
When he's on,
he's Miami's
really
beating
good.
Anybody, no bullshit. Anybody in the league, I think Miami can beat anybody if he's on. And it also was a grudge match too because he said he wanted to play Toronto round one.
We saw it at Major 1. I mean, they did make that run. So, how many maps are we giving Miami? We giving them 1?
I wanted to go 5.
I'm down for a 5 spot.
You go 5.
The issue is if it goes 5, then Miami's search might kick in. But
yeah, I was about to say I think I'd probably just pick 1, but we can go 5 for the storyline.
I'm gonna go 5 for the vibes. 5 for the vibes.
I don't like the Miami banned Skyline against them. I want to see Team square up with Ultra on Skyline at this major. I think we're giving Ultra a little bit too much credit on that map.
Well, teams are starting to play them on it now. I think that people are kind of identifying they're starting to slip a little bit.
How many times have they lost it?
They've lost it, 2 of the last 3? Something like that?
Well, they only lost it once.
I'm not spawning in I'm not spawning in against Ultra on Proto. I mean, they're gross on that map.
That's Toby's playground.
Well, we'll see what we get. I agree. Toronto's Skyline is not as unbeatable as it was during stage 2. But let's move on. The bottom side of the winners bracket. I think top side draw is actually really hard. The bottom side, there's some opportunity here, especially for OpTic. With how poorly OpTic's played, they have, you can argue, gotten the best draw. This is no slouch on Boston Breach, who had a really good split. They went 4-1. But I will say for Boston, very favorable schedule. Nice victory over Toronto. Don't want to discount that. Lost a Game 5 to Minnesota. But they slammed pretty convincingly. LAG and Cloud9, both teams are kind of chalked. And then they beat Falcons in a Game 5 round 11 reverse sweep. So I probably got Boston in this one, assuming they don't crumble. And they have won a winners round 1, a.k.a. last event. Does anyone want to take the flyer on OpTic winning this one?
Chelly, you got the hoodie on.
Any brave souls out here in this call?
Are we really that low on OpTic?
I do have the hoodie on. Fuck.
Yeah, but you can fade down.
I would have taken OpTic there. I won't lie.
No, I'm pretty. Yeah. I think they're pretty in the dirt.
I have a question. How did Caesar play on LAN? Not the most recent for OpTic, but has he looked better on LAN? I just don't know.
He's been pretty much the same player.
He's
got dropped LAG, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Been pretty much the same.
But it's LAG.
Pretty much the same.
Fuck, I'm going Boston, bro. Purge has been looking unbelievable. This guy's, when he hits flow state, I actually think his POV is top.
He's got
3.
a crazy takeover, bro.
It is takeovers. It looks like Paco. It's crazy, dude.
He has a good one.
And yeah, I don't know what's been going on with OpTic, man. I don't know what's good with Ant and those guys, but I think that this is OpTic's best bet is a generational losers run.
Starts with Falcons.
Falcones.
Oh man, AG sends him home.
AG OpTic round 1, dude. Fuck.
It's just
I kind of want to pick Boston just for the script too. Not even because I think they're actually going to win, but just for the script.
It's just so tough. When you think about the type of maps that OpTic might want to play, Boston have looked good on said maps to split, right? Like Vault. I mean, we talked a lot about Purge dropping bombs on that, Snoopy dropping bombs on that map.
Exactly.
And OpTic, I mentioned this on the show yesterday on the flank. Like OpTic, this is probably their best map when you watch them scrim the split. But then in matches, it's been not
they're like 1-3 or something.
Yeah,
right?
So Hossie against a Boston is not exactly a smart play either. I think Boston's record on Hossie is pretty good. Yeah, 7-3. Boston's probably going to be a red card against them.
Nope. I don't think so. I don't think OpTic want to play red card.
I mean, in Prody, red card probably just get out of this series. So it's just Hossie, Skyline, Vault.
Yep.
It's just tough. It's tough. I mean, how many maps do you want to give OpTic in this one? Do you think it's a game 5er, or did they get 1?
I think OpTic can win the search.
Yeah, I think they can take it.
Sorry, was that for Sam? My bad.
No, it's for the group in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just think none of us. Just sorry, guys. Just I know we got a lot of OpTic fans in there probably watching the show. It's just with the way Boston's playing right now, they haven't been good.
They just have not been good.
Now, speaking of good, we get a nice rematch of our Major 2 Grand Final. Vancouver Surge, who had a pretty good split. Kind of flew maybe a little bit under the radar to split because, they didn't look amazing, but they went 4-1. Again, their schedule, they had some softies in here. They get 3-0 by Thieves. They 3-0'd Falcons off the rip. 3-0'd LAG. Game 5 against Carolina. Game 5 against Cloud9. So, LAG, Carolina C9 combo. This is obviously Carolina pre Dylan Rex pickup. So that. And on the FaZe side, we've talked about it. They went 3-2 this split. Dropped series to Toronto and Miami, but beat Carolina, Falcons, and OpTic. Just lost map 1 in a bunch of these series. But for FaZe, their S&D has still looked very good, 4-2 and 4-1 to control the 5 series they played. The other 2 game modes are popping off. Do you think there's a role where Vancouver get this upset? Or
Ben,
what?
I'm going to say what I said yesterday.
Yeah.
Simp is like 30-3 in winners round 1, and I don't think this is 4.
Isn't that not insane?
That's insane.
Is that a real stat?
What the fuck?
They do not lose winners round 1 ever. So for that reason, I also think this is a game 5 Neslo for FaZe. But yeah, I can't statistically pick anyone to beat them in round 1. It's insane. Even though this is a good matchup for them, Vancouver randomly has this hard counter matchup this year. Were they 2-1, Ben? 3-1, something like that? 3-1? Or no, they beat them in finals, didn't they? They slammed them in finals.
FaZe beat them twice at the event.
Yeah, 2-2?
FaZe
Random good matchup though.
Finalist list. Fuck is Surge. It's alphabetical. I'm scrolling upwards. Like I'm actually lost 2-2.
There is a very simple win condition for the Surge here to win this series, and it's to win the control. And if they can't win the control, this series is chalked. I think
It's got to be Hasi.
Yeah, it's gonna be Hasi because they're probably gonna. They can ban Proto.
They have to.
They have played
if
4
anyone
series.
plays FaZe on protocol, they're legitimately griefing.
They have
No,
played
you're
4
right.
series, and all 4 of them have been played on protocol control. So you got to think.
They have to ban it, bro.
Well, they've
That's the
won
thing.
once on the Proto control.
They have to ban it.
Series they won.
I just think FaZe have lost like 2 Hosties. One of them, I'm trying to remember the 2 losses.
be Vault.
One, I think one was to Thieves. I'm trying to remember who they lost Hostie into control to.
I don't think they didn't lose to Thieves. Or no, they did lose one to Thieves, I think, at Major 1. Pretty
This
sure.
year.
Yeah.
Yes, it's hostage control this year. I think Thieves beat them in 1. I could be wrong.
No, they beat
And then-
Thieves twice. They played Hostie into control at the major. I'm trying to find where did they lose a Hostie
I don't
into
know.
control.
Lost to
regardless,
Miami.
though, that's why I think
They lost to Miami. True.
they lost to Miami.
Oh yeah, they did lose
Holy fuck.
Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the medals takeover?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
I'm trying to remember the other time they lost to Hostie under control.
Dude,
But like,
insane.
Yeah, it
Kid
just-
just said LAG. That'd be a random one if it
Tommy
was.
They did
Cup-
lose to LAG.
Tommy coming with a
3-2.
sub. I don't know what clip he just
There you
left me.
go.
Rocket League.
In the middle of a podcast, he's looking at me a Rocket League clip. Like, what are you doing here, brother? Go ahead, Sam.
No, I was just saying that the Neslo angle is, I think, phases going forward for this entire tournament.
That's the thing with FaZe is like,
Oh, dude, I just
They're-
think their hard point's going to be that bad, though, is the thing.
so I was gonna say their hard point's been weak, but you still can't pick them at a pick against them really because their S&D controller is so good. And then it's like, are you really gonna count on those guys losing like 2 hard points in a series to most teams? Probably not. They've just for years now. They've just had the S&D and control backbone because they've been
I will
through
s-
phases where like their hard point
Yeah.
kind of iffy,
I
but they
will
just
say
have
the
both those game modes so
vetoes-
solid. Go ahead.
The
Sorry.
vetoes for no, you're good. The vetoes for this series are pretty straightforward. Vancouver's gonna veto red card, and FaZe are gonna veto Vault. I would assume. So we're probably gonna get a Hossie Proto, something along those lines, and that honestly might, for me, I think that favors FaZe. So I could see them staking a Hossie or a Proto. So I don't know, Sam.
I think Chris just said what I was going to say. I think Skyline could be in here, too.
Yeah.
Vancouver's pretty comfortable in playing it now. I think they've successfully added that map to their pool. They've been playing it very well over the qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, when you put Nep in for Hixie, you're gonna be better at Skyline.
I just think weirdly, this is why I don't know where FaZe is at
You
though.
can't escape them, dude.
I don't know where FaZe is at though because their Vault's been much better than their Skyline this split, so they may just ban They just meant being Skyline and play Vault. For what it's
I don't know
worth.
if it was later in the tournament. Depending on like form from Vancouver going into that series, if it was later in the tournament, I would be more comfortable picking them to win. But I think FaZe just takes care of business here.
I just won't be surprised if FaZe is hardpoint form if they lose through response in the series.
I think they'll be. Dude, I just don't see a world in which their hardpoint form is as bad as it's been online.
Well,
like I don't see the Terror struggling like that again on land.
Then watching it dump down and just make a losers bracket run.
Yeah, just in typical FaZe fashion.
Like whatever, bro.
Yeah.
Sam, don't you like when teams do bad, like in their online qualifiers, because then they're like due for a turn up at LAN? Or you were talking about you want Thieves to lose at least once, so they don't come in.
That's because of the curse, though. That's not because
the undefeated curse.
It's the undefeated curse, Chelly.
Sure.
I need them to get rid of that shit. Not because I want teams to play poorly. Listen,
The
bro,
undefeated curse is undefeated the past few years. I think since what, Cold War? Yeah.
Yep. Can't do it. Dude, the losers round 2 and forward is all insane games every series.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Let's finish out winners round 2. FaZe Boston. I mean, as good as Boston are playing, it's been a bad matchup for them all.
I have an absolute skull crushing win for FaZe.
Skull crushing is
Just
insane.
a fucking door
It's
dash.
just Boston. Listen, the only thing I'll say is Boston's control has gotten much better, so maybe they got a chance in this one. They're 5-0 this split. You
need an AR to drop a 1.3 against FaZe here if you're Boston. I just don't see Cammy or Giga doing that.
I mean, Zach and MC have been FaZe's best players, and they haven't dropped form whatsoever this whole stage. So I agree with
I
Chelly.
think the problem with Boston is that FaZe is not going to play the Mahasi control, and Boston don't really play protocol, and it's Vault, and then maybe you got a chance, but I don't know. I think this is a 3-0-3-1. And then topside Thieves Toronto.
Banger.
Ooh, this is a good gritty one.
Ban protocol Thieves, please. I've been saying it since you didn't ban it last major, man. I'm gonna crash out. Don't play them on
Chelly.
protocol.
I don't think they did during the qualifier, right? I don't think Pro was.
No, they didn't. They
They
corrected their mistake.
Yeah. Listen, bro. This series right here kind of is like the indicator of like how you think this term is going to go for everybody, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like if we have Thieves winning this, then I think it's pretty straightforward. Thieves to finals. But I think if you guys have Toronto winning this, that's where things get really interesting. I have Thieves personally. Grudge match revenge series.
I feel like Thieves. That dealership was so trolly, bro.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
Do you think it's the Thieves Neslo angle, or do you think they're winning a hard point this one?
I'm confident with the hard point for Thieves against anybody.
Chelly, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have Thieves 3-1. I think they lose the search.
What do you think, Cap?
Yeah, we'll go 3-1. I think Thieves get their revenge from last tournament. And the major
could
match
be an all-timer. Just look like this bracket. Every series is good, bro. Like this shit could be an all-timer.
Just wait to get the loser bracket because you're about to say.
Yeah, losers is a movie, dude.
This gets crazy because again, if FaZe lose to say Vancouver and they get dropped down, then they might have to play Toronto to make top 4, which would be.
Yeah.
All right, let's work through losers bracket. There are a couple of matches in here that are potentially team shockers.
See, losers is fun. Losers is way more fun than just being Thieves 3-1.
There were past years where Friday was the most boring day of the tournament, but this year, I don't know. Looking at this list, we're gonna start off at the top, although I believe it's the second last match.
Kenny sweepstakes.
Carolina, Minnesota.
Oh, man.
Carolina's safe for champs, but haven't been playing well. Dylan Rex in for Reese Vivid. Got choke slammed by fucking LA Thieves. Last weekend, obviously, we're assuming they get chokeslammed again. Can they regain against Kenny and the Rocker, who dropped a couple of too many game 5s, round 11s? I mean, Minnesota have to win this. Gwyn is fucking Gwinternet.
Oh, man.
Are you picking Rocker, Benja?
I'm picking Rocker in 4, but it just goes 5. Lord almighty, bro.
I really want Rocker to win just to keep the champs race more interesting.
You're winning an event?
Oh, yeah, they have to win an event this year.
This is the one.
This losers run will be legendary.
Are you picking Ravens, Cap?
No, I'm picking Rocker.
I like that.
I'm
I'm gonna pick Rocker too for the script.
Yeah, for the script. I think it's pretty 50-50, but
Yeah,
for the script.
I am severely low on Ravens.
Fuck, man.
We're giving Ravens 1 or 2 here.
5. We'll give
5.
Rocker.
Yeah, it's Rocker, man.
We can put 5 down on our bracket, but I think it'll be 4 because if it goes 5, Minnesota probably just shits their pants again.
No.
I'm just worried for Ravens in this series, especially if they just, bro, they're just like, I'm really curious mentally where they're at, knowing they got to play Thieves winners round 1. I just want to know if they're just, if now they're not going to be laser focused and they're just going to get double out of the tournament, or are they going to try and bring something special for this one with Dylan? Because Dylan looked really uncomfortable in that series this weekend, but I'm giving him a pass until I see more because they played Thieves. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
Don't know what
I'm gonna go Rocker, and here's why.
Okay, heard.
Geo on LAN. This is an AR. This is an AR issue. I don't know. Rex, obviously, it's really hard to judge him after one series where they got door dashed. But I gotta imagine there's a little bit of nerves, and then on top of that, you always have Gwyn, who, you know, in the back of your head, he's gonna be thinking about that, whether he has a decent first series against Thieves or not. But Geo on LAN, his first 2 events has been great.
Yeah.
And I think that's really going to be hard for Rex and Liddy or Slasher to keep up with, if Geo's slaying, if Estrel's doing what he's been doing the entire season, by the way, and Nero shows up and can kind of counter that Gwyn potential pop off. Because at the end of the day, Nero and Gwyn, 2 of the streakiest players, especially on LAN. I think Nero has some consistency issues. So if they're counteracting each other, Geo's the X factor in this series, and I got Rocker.
I like that take.
Random thought. If Gwyn doesn't perform well in LAN, at what point is he like, you guys just out on Gwyn? Because you're talking about his pop-off potential. It's like, you know, it just feels like this what if game every event. Like, oh, is this the one he's gonna break out? Like, when I'm genuinely not rooting against the kid.
Yeah.
And I love Tej and Austin, so like, I want to see the team do good. But I don't know. Just at what point are we just like, it might not ever happen, or it's not gonna ever happen?
I don't think that I'll ever get to that point. I think he's just too good, bro, online. Like,
just seeing the talents, like one day he'll figure it out.
He's not just dog shit. It's not like he's terrible, like, playing online. Like, the kid's dropping 1-3s. And the thing is that, like, they're in such a good spot because of their online performance. Like, Gwyn is, I'm not saying Gwyn single-handedly did it, but like the majority of their points are online, and a large factor in those points has been Gwyn. So I don't feel like you could ever be fully out on him just because you see what he's capable of. It's just a complete mental hurdle at this point for him to do it when it matters.
I don't know. Being around COD for so long, it's just like at this point in that mental hurdle, it's like, I don't know what gets him over that hump.
And you know what's not going to help him get over that hump is
getting rounded.
Playing LA Thieves first match of the entire major. It's not going to help you get over your LAN hump.
With how Thieves has just dominated them all year too.
Yeah, guess how many points they're averaging in hardpoint against the...
I saw your tweet. It was
insane.
It's like
it's ugly.
600
90
points in 6 hard points.
Yeah, they're averaging 90 a hardpoint.
Good.
Averaging a 100-point club in a matchup is certainly something.
Well,
I don't know what it is, man. Sam or Cap or Ben, do you guys think it has anything to do with the way Gwyn plays with this team, where he kind of is off on his own, and his gameplay and his style is very depending on if he can pop a 2-piece and be that slaying sub, and then he gets on LAN, and I don't know. Do you think it has something to do with his play style, that he has more of like a tendency to black out when there's pressure? Or
I think that there's somewhat of a truth in that, only because of what Dill said in their post game. If you guys remember that. That's the only reason that I think you could be onto something there, Chelly. Is just like how they view maybe Ravens play the game is just wrong. Like maybe LAT just understand the game better, and the matchup stylistically just goes in their favor. I also think it's just like a complete mental block at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think it was this bad to start the season, but I think as the series have gone on and how many times they've beat their ass, that it's gotten to the point now where they see the team and they're like, oh fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's definitely not.
But I think the Gwyn thing has merit only because of how Dill approached the interview when they brought up Gwyn and how he plays.
I think for Gwyn, like, it would be nice to figure out this one. They're going to make champs, but like the more that they kind of stall out here, the lower they fall in the standings as people catch up to them. And the worst thing they want is just to squander this top 4, top 5 seed they have and draw phase with Thieves, winners round 1 of champs. So unfortunately, I think based on the draw, they're getting dead last this one. We all agree, right?
Yep.
Fuck, unfortunately. But dude, it sucks because T just showing up on land consistently. Liddy shows up on land as well. Don't know about Rex. It's hard. It's hard with the Rex. If it was Vivid, I might actually have Ravens, to be honest.
Go ahead.
Because just how good Reese has been on land and how he's been their best player on land.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, it'd be the funniest way for this tournament to start is if Thieves somehow loses winners round 1. But
Oh, dude, I'd fucking eat my own pants.
anyway,
All right, write that down.
let's move on. Recent challengers. Curious to see how he plays in challengers this weekend. Miami LAG. Don't need to spend too much time on this one. LAG looked awful. Just don't
Miami
see
comfortably.
how Miami lose to them. It'd be very funny if Miami lost, but I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening, but I don't see it being a 3-0. I'll tell you that.
What map do you think they take?
I think they can win AHP. I think they could win. If they get first map pick, I think LAG can win their map pick.
I feel like it would be control more than anything. Like Miami's hardpoint form has been relatively good, undefeated in search. I think the control is an area where, I mean, Miami's control has really been a pain point for the whole stage, though. Like they have been good, and we've been talking them up, but like if you can't end a series with advantage and you let these teams hang around, that's where things can get really interesting. Like a rocker in round 2.
Yeah, I just know that LAG, we're talking up a little bit about how their players have performed on land in the past. I think T-Fellow is a good guy to have on land. Kismet obviously can get 99 Ks. And Johnny and who is it? Johnny and Lunars. Yeah, I don't know. Lunars is definitely a question mark for me, man. He's been super inconsistent.
Yeah, he hasn't really done much for me.
Yeah. He just, and I don't know again if it's a product of like how bad the team is in the situation, but he just seems super indecisive now. Like he's just too slow. A step or too slow. Doesn't get that last guy trade. Just doesn't play as quick as we see other players if you watch Zero. So hopefully it gets it going.
Feels like something could learn in time, but he's been very underwhelming since he came up.
Cool. Well, let's move on to the bottom side of winners, or bottom side losers rather. And a matchup that a lot of people are excited for if we get it. Can AG and the Vegas Falcons get their first land win against AG's former team, Pride's former team in OpTic, Texas? We were talking about this yesterday. I don't know what the crowd split's going to be like in this one. It's going to be pro OpTic, pro Vegas, 50-50. Vegas' hardpoint's been great. The other two game modes, not so much. So it could potentially be a problem in this one. What's up?
If the crowd's going to be pro OpTic or pro Vegas?
Yeah, we debated about that on the show yesterday.
What kind of debate was that?
I mean, I was saying it's pro OpTic, but people were trying to argue the
I
other
would
way.
hope so.
They were trying to argue the other way.
Bro, what? You think Falcons fans are traveling to Florida?
Bro, no, Sam, back me up. Sam, back me up here.
For the winter.
Back me up. This is a real combo we had.
I mean, I was not a part of that combo. I thought OpTic was going to clear him, but yes, I agree.
It's a real combo. And I was my blood.
Anyone who thinks the crowd will be in Vegas's favorite, I would love to put money on that against you.
Cap's taking odds. Hit him up.
I would love to put money on that.
Speaking of betting, neither of these teams get on the hill. They're just allergic to white time. I swear, these hard points are going to be absolutely.
This is the Morris series, baby. We're going to be nuking these on Friday.
I'm excited.
Oh my god, we're going to be nuking these on Friday. I hope we get it.
I have OpTic winning this 3-1 though.
I have OpTic as well. I like that OpTic lost online. Makes me feel more confident that they're going to come in on land and handle business.
I got a little bit of hate yesterday because I came into the show on fire, just absolutely talking shit about Falcons.
Yo, we were all doped up like they look so much better. And Ben was like, these guys are fucking ass. They're not making champs. The team is awful.
so to repeat the reasoning wise, yes, their hardpoint form has been really good. It's off the back of them winning 4 Skylines. But you start to remove Skyline, I think the hardpoint will come down a bit. And unfortunately, across a lot of different maps in both S&D and Control, because they played every Control map to split, they played most of the search maps, barring Protocol S&D. It don't look good in either game mode. And a series like this against OpTic, look, OpTic are a team that we've seen this year. If they lose map 1, it gets a little bit dicey. I just think for Falcons, like the chance to win this series is win 2 of the hard points and clutch up a game 5, and I just don't see them doing it against OpTic on LAN. Online, maybe LAN.
That that rogue sub duo, AG and Octane on LAN is going to be a blackout fest.
It's going to be awesome to watch.
Blackout after it's going to be cinema.
I love watching them play because they're just both trying to make like the crazy limit test play, but they do it together all the time.
Dude,
It's hilarious.
I love when they're doing a Falcons listen and the first thing you hear on like a P3 is AG, who's blocking spawns? Who's got spawns? Who's block? I'm going, flank it. It's every time he's hitting that pinch from top P2 or just all the way around from piano, and he's always screaming for someone to block.
Preston and Alec got to be on their shit at all times playing with these two.
Yeah, literally.
Which is why like I've kind of held off on like flaming them too hard because I know that what they're doing is not the easiest thing in the world when you have two absolute limit testing subs trying to fucking do it all. So I feel for him for sure.
This is not a consistent way to play. This is not how they're when they get championship
but it's
form.
fun
This
as
is not
fuck to
gonna
watch.
It's fun. They're playing a fun brand of COD.
Yeah.
Maybe if they drew anybody else in this one, I'd give them the dub. I still
made
think
a
they
fan out
can
of
do
me,
it.
man.
You know, if they play better in search, it's doable.
It would require OpTic to mentally check out of this series and to just lose composure. If if Kyler slows down and Shotzi and they play a little bit more fundamental ball, I know that's Sam's favorite term, fundamental ball.
Ethical ball.
Ethical ball. There you go. There it is. But yeah.
Falcons are the opposite of ethical ball.
Could you imagine just the storyline if Vegas wins this, knocks them out of the tournament, knocks them out of champs maybe? And that's Vegas' only 2 wins for the entire year.
And then Rocker overtake OpTic.
That's what I'm saying.
Ken qualifies over them.
Bro,
Yeah.
it'd be the worst 3-event stretch in OpTic history. Across any title I can remember, what, 12th, 8th, 12th?
Oh, need that for the legacy.
I can't
need that for me.
Obviously had some bad events historically, right? There were years like, obviously, champs, times are in ghosts. Like, the 12th, 8th, 12th would be the worst 3-event stretch ever.
They have a 25-point cushion, bro. I can't imagine they break like that. I mean, they could, which would be a historic one, but I just don't see a world where that happens. I think they get 10 points here, they're 35 up, and from that point forward, it's pretty difficult.
Speaking of teams that need
Or
points.
15, whatever it is.
I crashed out about this team yesterday. Vancouver Surge versus Cloud9. C9 have continued to just be, with one win this stage, like it's not looking good. Vancouver obviously have looked solid. Does anyone want to take a flyer on C9?
Can I say
not?
Yeah, go ahead. Pop off, King.
I just want to say the similarities between this Cloud9 team and the Miami team pre-Lucky drop are actually insane. Mac similar to Metals, and I'm comparing Lucky to Attach. And it's crazy because we saw the roster change super in for Lucky, and we saw the difference that made. And obviously we were just talking about Metals not too long ago. Cloud9 are in a very similar position where Attach and Mac are both very consistently going negative in these series that they need to be going positive against top 4 teams, top 5 teams, top 6 teams, which is why we see them on, 9th place in champs qualifiers right now for the standings.
Yeah.
There needs to be a roster change, and it should have been done. And I don't want to beat a dead horse here because I think everyone in this call agrees. You can correct me if I'm wrong. There needed to be a roster change a month ago,
I
2
think
months.
we were calling for it after Major 1. Like, yo,
They kicked back up after Major 1, and we were like, oh, maybe not. But
maybe. Yeah.
But they won 2 series since the beginning of the middle of Major 2.
I want to know what changed for Mac, bro. He started the year so hot after
I can tell you what changed, bro. It's Dante and it's Kremp. I think he completely reverted back to Seattle Mac, and it's the worst thing that could have happened.
I don't believe that, like, Dante, because Kremp's been playing pretty consistent all season.
Yeah.
I don't think Dante just started shooting and just stealing Max kills.
Well, think
Like,
of the
not
when
literally stealing his kills. But you
think
know
of the
what I mean?
downtrend though. At the start of the season, we were saying that Mac and Kremp were the 2 best players, and Dante and Dylan needed to step up. We were calling for almost roster changes for the AR duo. Dante goes to Major 1, kicks up, and since Major 1, Mac has been feast or famine since then.
They just can't coexist. They just
I don't
can't.
think not in this game. It seems. I mean, look at the correlation. Look at the timeline. It literally goes.
No, I get what you're saying. It's just when you look like a good player, because Mac looked really good.
Yeah.
Like, I believe you might not get as many kills. He might not be the hard carry like he was those first few matches online.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you can still play well, and he is not. Like, he's just done a complete 180. Maybe it is what you're saying, but I don't know. It's been such a drastic change. and his individual performance, like his point of view looks way different.
I agree. That's why I think he just like mentally reverted back to how he was.
Maybe, yeah.
More my point. Not even like just intentionally because Dante's playing well. I think it's just like he played with Dante when he was playing like that, and maybe he just kind of subconsciously started like filling gaps and like doing that thing. Because I think that this C9 team was completely contingent on him being like MW19 form, like having the green light and playing well. And I think I don't think they expected Krem to be as good as he is at this game. I think he's probably the most underrated player in the league outside of some Miami players. I think that Krem has been really good for them, and I just don't think that they honestly expected that form from him. So when Mac came onto the team under the idea of what I said before, I think that just the way that the year panned out and how their players ended up being at this game, I think, again, he just regressed into that form, and it's hurt them drastically. And I also think Dylan's just not that good at this game either.
Dylan's not been that good. I was just bringing up Mac because he had the drop off, in my opinion. Dylan's just kind of been the same all year.
Yeah, bro. It's just sad that the C9 team was just not proactive in this friendship, cheesed their way into not making champs. But I
don't think it was intentional. I think they definitely had conversations about making moves.
I mean, they trialed Cap, so
I have a question.
Conversations were had.
I have a question for you guys. What do you think's more likely to happen? Obviously, we think that they're going to do a roster change regardless. Do we think that Dante goes to someone to make a team even better, or do we think that they drop maybe Attach and Mac and bring two guys in?
You talking about in the off season or like right? Or like
I'm talking about like now because there are a lot of
not going anywhere.
C9 is not going to let Dante walk into.
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't really see moves like that.
I know,
like
and I want to.
The star player is like, let's say his contract's up, they get rid of him, which I think teams should do because like I don't even know if Dante's contract's up. I'm just saying that's a situation where it happens. You see in sports all the time.
Right on Vancouver or Seattle when I was there.
I just would be, I would be surprised unless someone comes in with like an offer that can't be refused. It would just be very unusual to see a buyout this late in the season. In January, sure. In April, I can't recall a time
buyout this late, and for like a number where C9's like, holy shit, we have to take that.
Especially
usually there's a wide gap in those buyout conversations. There's a wide gap between what the team wants and what the team's willing to offer.
Exactly.
I know you guys saw the clip I'm referring to, by the way, where Dante says that his dream is to play on OpTic and that's the end goal for him.
I heard about it. I didn't see the clip, but I know what you're talking about.
It's just like the timing on that is pretty interesting.
There's serious OpTic SIB prop being spewed, bro.
I'm not.
No, not from you. Not from you.
I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of
just from the community, the narrative in general.
The SIB Brandon AR duo is
that
potentially incredible or potentially terrible. I feel like there's no in between.
Maybe good.
It's either be awesome and they're just gonna fry everybody, or they're gonna be complete dog shit together.
Okay, well, it's better
than the same team, and those two are both on. Holy fuck! Look out.
Yeah, good luck, bro. Good luck. But I can also see again with the we talked extensively about OpTic and the leadership issues and why they got Ken and then they drop Ken, and it's like you bring Dante into that. And I think Dante's decisive about what he wants in practice. He's vocal. As an in-game leader, I don't know. So
yeah, I mean, you guys, when we found out that Caesar was going to be Dashy's duo for AR, we all said it's going to be a disaster class. So
listen, if I'm Dante, if Vegas beat OpTic, I'm also instantly tipping the Vegas team and starting that proppy. If I'm Dante, this is pure silly season. Get your stock up, connect yourself to every team, and start working the market and driving your value up, brother.
I'm sure AG and Dante have had conversations.
Yeah. So
sure.
All right.
The issue is just the +1 thing for him. I kind of talked about it before we started the podcast, but we're going into a +1 off season, not like a contract ending off season. So that's where things can get weird.
C9 really haven't like recently in all esports don't really hold people though. So
Jack's usually pretty good when it comes to it.
So I think he'll probably go somewhere, but there could be multiple spots and he can choose. We have Vancouver 3-0. We haven't seen on the map or
no.
First game of the day looks like 1:30. They're gonna respect the schedule.
Let's cruise through this. We're taking forever to do this. Rocker Miami.
I'm going Rocker.
I'm going Miami.
They're winning the tournaments, of course.
I'm giving Rocker. You guys down to give Rocker one? It's hard for me to see them win this with how good Miami's been in search and
I want to go Rocker because I think that this is the metal stinker.
It's so hard to pick.
No,
the metal
Miami
stinker,
kinda-
though. It's
Miami
it is
kind
hard
of
to pick.
fucking
It is hard to pick.
slammed
Hey,
them,
Chelly, if
though.
you hit that, buy a lotto ticket, brother.
Bro, I'm
Miami,
just trying to
Miami
think of
kind
the
of
map
slammed
set.
them
I'm trying
recently,
to think of the
though.
map set. Think of the map set, bro.
Ben, can you pull up medals like last, I don't know, like 6-7 series?
Yeah, probably. Let's go.
Can you like identify a trend of the teams that he plays poorly against?
We can attempt to. Let's see. For medals.
We can
We
come
can
up
try
with
to, we
something.
can try to
What the
pinpoint
fuck
this
is this
shit.
picture, by the way? Hello?
Bro, we try to
Like,
pinpoint this shit.
bro, what?
Who does that? Dybala? Or no, who does that? What soccer
I
player?
like the picture.
What are
I
the
like
soccer
it.
players that what
Yeah, I
really
actually know
like
who
it.
celebration says.
I like the picture.
Matches. Someone said Gilchrist. Victor Gilchrist.
Okay, so what does he get?
Popped
Popped up and then it disappeared. Where'd
I
it go?
don't really
There it
see
is.
any discernible.
I mean, he's been playing well. That's why Miami's look good.
Oh,
I mean,
seriously.
they did a
He's-
great
he's got a
series against
0.9 or better.
FaZe. They just played Minnesota last weekend
Yeah.
and beat them.
0.9 or
pretty
better.
much.
He's been playing well.
I don't know what happened to ball control, but I remember the hard points were not close.
Okay. I don't know, bro. I'm pretty I have Miami making Sunday personally, but
Yeah, I think it's just hard. Minnesota, listen.
There's no rhyme or reason there. He plays well against good teams and he gets shit on against good teams.
If you're a
he
Minnesota,
just whatever he eats for breakfast. I don't know.
if you're a Minnesota fan, you want Boston to get dead last, and you want OpTic to get dead last. That way, if you get eighth, it's doable. You're like 15 points behind. It's doable. You get to 6, and it's everything to play for. You just got to outplace the net split. But I can't pick Minnesota in this one.
I can't either.
I'll stand on business.
Boston, Miami.
Miami.
Miami 3-2.
This is a very good series, though. I think this is going to be a
really
very
good
good series. But I have Miami based on the searches.
Damn, Sam really pushing that.
I'm high on
prop,
Miami, bro. I think that Miami's trio is insane. I think there are duos top 3, probably top 4 minimum. I am high as fuck on Miami.
That's good.
Genuinely.
Gas,
I think
man.
they're good as fuck.
They played on LAN with their old team, and I remember this series being really close to Major 2.
I think it goes 5 for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a 5, and I would take Miami because Miami's search just looks better than Boston's right now. But I won't be super. I think this is a pretty close series potentially. I think Boston look good, but could they be a product of a weak schedule? I guess we'll find out when we get to LAN.
What do you have, Cap? What does Cap have?
Yeah, Cap, what do you got?
Miami.
All right.
Miami.
OpTic versus Vancouver. This could be a big one for the trajectory of OpTic season. If they somehow get an upset here, and then you got bonus card against Toronto, but I don't think any.
Trio
All right,
Vancouver.
Greenwall.
You got OpTic in this one?
3-0 Vancouver.
No.
Watered.
Absolutely.
Vancouver's a
Watered, I
very
like
good
that.
team, and OpTic is not a good team.
They have not played OpTic since the second week of the year. So just FYI there.
Damn, really?
Yeah. They've only played
Bro, I
once.
can't believe we've only. I don't know. Also, don't know why, but I feel like we've seen way more phase OpTic series this year, and we've only seen 2, which is insane.
Which is insane.
I feel like we've seen them so many more
Yeah.
times. But yeah, I also have Vancouver like 3-1, 3-0.
And I thought the scheduling was supposed to fix them.
Yeah, how's that work?
This is a map pool diff.
They probably play next stage. So.
It really is a map pool diff. I don't see the opportunities in the map pool for OpTic in this one.
That's the issue.
It's just like if OpTic was a better red card, or they were a better protocol hardpoint team. Let me say that. I feel more confident, but it's like, bro, you're gonna play Vancouver on Vault, can't win Vault. You're gonna play them on Hossie. Good luck
Play them
there.
on Skyline, Vancouver Skylines.
Red card,
well.
they're maybe getting 110 points.
Yeah, red card's an auto will, so that's a veto from OpTic.
I don't know.
There's
The
not
only-
one. There's not one map.
Yeah, Vancouver's gonna be very happy in these videos.
If you're
for
OpTic,
sure.
listen, I'll say the win condition for this and the Vegas series and the Boston series. OpTic's hardpoint looks iffy, but as Caesar said a while back, if they want to be good, like the Neslo angle here against these teams, there's opportunity. I don't think Vancouver's S&D is elite. They are serviceable at times in search, but it got them in trouble against FaZe. They've improved on it this split for what it's worth. They were 10-12 last split. They're 5-2 going into this event. We'll see if maybe they've turned the corner in the game mode, but yeah, I think it's hard for us to give OpTic anything in this one.
So what are we? So what? OpTic gets 15, so they'll be at what 155.
Yeah.
And then we have Rocker getting 1, so they'll be at 115.
Yeah.
C9 rounded, so they're still at 95.
Yeah, it would just come
Down 30 with this bracket if it plays.
I'm
out
just
like
saying,
this.
like, it still opens up the possibility that someone gets 4th or 3rd, or they pull a fucking New York and they get to the final at Major 4. Like, it is still going to be possible for one of these teams to make an insane run at Major 4. And
Yeah,
that
some
can
New York
change,
shit.
but Toronto, Vancouver, man. There's so many good losers.
This one was so hard on the show last night.
Because they played a bunch and they've split this year. So it's like, it just comes down to form. I will say that on the season, and I mentioned this on the show yesterday, Toronto was 3-2 against them. Toronto's 2-6 in the hard points with 6-1 in the searches.
I had Vancouver last night.
All I can think about is Nep standing
Wake
up
up
and
feeling
yelling at
different
beans.
today.
No, I still have Vancouver.
I might go Vancouver too, especially if Vancouver's S&D is improved. They have a chance. I think this could be a game 5. Prody S&D, Vancouver.
Chelly, what are
clutch
you
up.
thinking?
I'm laughing because I'm just thinking about Nep going, "Don't you ever beans.
Look at me, bitch. I got Toronto and Neppy, or excuse me, Vancouver and Neppy, bro.
What do you guys?
I got Ultra.
I have Ultra.
Ooh, chat.
Tied.
Oh shit, we're gonna need chat to help us
We
out
can
here.
chat.
Yeah, I'm making a poll. My chat.
Chat, Toronto or Ultra? Or Toronto or Surge? What are you thinking?
All right. I'm putting 1 minute on this
I
poll.
will say there is going to be a skyline in here.
For sure there's going to be a skyline in here.
So that's going to be a fun one. I probably still give the edge to Ultra on that, but
I think my chat's looking
Yeah.
Toronto.
Giant bench chat's pissing me off. That was the same bracket as last night. Well, yeah, because you think
It's not the same way. They had Ultra last night.
similar. Only picked so many upsets.
yeah. Like, I think he wants us to pick, like, that Breach over Thieves upset, like, last major
Yeah.
that nobody had. It's like, how you know?
Impossible to pick that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think my chat's looking ultra
Yeah,
ultra as
same-
fuck,
same-
if you will.
Same over here. It's looking Toronto-ish, but I'm seeing it.
Ultra it is.
Yeah, we'll say game
Let me,
5.
let me get my
I've
vote
been
in.
outvoted again. Fuck.
You and I were feeling Vancouver, but it's 4 people
I'm
on
still
the show.
feeling.
Hey, we should have dragged Soap in here. I made Soap pick.
You can do that.
Dude, look at this
Nah,
losers bracket.
everybody
Like,
has to career as a
bro,
fans.
this losers round 2 and on is all insane games.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Saturday is going to be a movie for sure. Saturday will be fun. All right. We get into the first match on Sunday, Miami versus Toronto Ultra, which would be a rematch of earlier, or actually, yeah, a rematch of earlier the tournament. We had Toronto take that 3-2. We think maybe Miami clutch up on the rematch. That's what I'm thinking.
No,
You got Toronto?
I'm not thinking. I have Toronto.
Dude, the Miami Toronto Ultra series, like those 3 teams when they play each other, is just like genuine 50-50 to me in my head.
What do you got, Chelly?
I don't even have Miami getting here, so I'm going to just stay out of this conversation.
What, you have to pick? Fuck off. You have to pick one. That's not an acceptable answer to that
I mean, I
question.
think,
Well,
I
then
think his
Ultra.
answer's obvious.
Oh, man. Wait, so you would have what, Breach here? Because you have Rocker beating Heretics?
I would have Rocker and then Rocker Breach.
You have
round
Rocker here?
5. I could
You
have
have Rocker here?
between Rocker and Breach. I'd probably go Breach over Rocker though. I go Breach.
So you would have Breach versus Ultra, so you would take
Yeah.
Ultra. So you
Yeah, I
would
would
have
take
Ultra
Ultra.
here.
Yeah, I'd have Ultra. Okay. Yeah.
Sam, what do you got?
I took Ultra last night, bro. Fuck, I don't know, dude. I'm high on Miami, man. But every time I felt good about a team, they've been dirt shit, which is not good. Every time I gas a team, they're immediately awful. Every time I give a team flowers, they turn immediately terrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna be chirping you in the watch party if
I
Miami
know,
comes
bro.
out
If
so flat.
if Miami just show up and bomb out of this tournament, dude, I'm gonna be so sad. My gut's telling me Ultra, so I'm gonna stick with it. But I want Miami to win.
All right, we're gonna say what, 3-1 or 3-2?
I think it's another game 5.
All right, game 5 it is.
Fuck, dude. Toronto and Vancouver for top 6 is insane.
All right, winners finals for the second time this season. Thieves versus FaZe. I'm gonna stick with my prediction I had yesterday. I just think FaZe is hard point right now. The angle in here is a Neslo. I think Thieves' S&D is good, so I can see Thieves winning a game 5. What do you guys got? I'll start with you, Cap.
I'll go Thieves 3-1. Win both hard points and one of the other 2. I don't know which one.
Chelly.
Good Thieves 3-0.
Oh,
Damn.
I think if it goes 5, I'll take FaZe, but I think Thieves close it before that.
What do you got, Sam?
I had FaZe yesterday, but I've been outvoted.
Are we doing 3-1?
Oh, Sam's got to pick Thieves.
I'm
Oh,
not for 3-1. I think the problem for FaZe is like as good as their control SMD has been, I think Thieves have been pretty good at both the game modes now, both splits. I don't know what the fuck happened last stage, but this stage they've only lost one search and they're 5-0 in control. So some of my chat said this being winners finals would be so fucking boring.
How would that be boring? This is literal cinema. There's a game 5 reverse sweep of this winners finals, one of the best series of this season at Major 1.
Oh my god, it's gotta be one of the bro.
That's rage bait. Losers.
Moving on. All right.
Is he saying like we're boring for picking the 2 top teams in the game to get to winners finals, or is he saying that it's actual
she's gonna have to
matchup?
elaborate in my chat about that because I don't know. If it's what you're saying, then that's understandable. If it's not, then we're rage baiting. He said yes, Chelly.
Oh, okay. So he's saying we're just boring for picking the 2 best teams to get to winners. Got it.
Well, what like you want us to pick Toronto over Thieves when Thieves have been playing better than Toronto, and you want us to pick Boston to beat FaZe when they have barely been able to hold their own in the 3 series they played against FaZe so far this year?
I mean, the Ultra Thieves series could definitely go Ultra's way.
Yeah.
It could, but I don't want it to, so it won't. That's how it works.
I think FaZe got a good bracket draw. If they get past Vancouver, I don't see how they lose to OpTic or Boston. So
Agreed.
it's just how it is. FaZe versus Toronto. You know, Toronto have at times had their number this season. Online, they beat them the first week of the season. Toronto also beat them the first week as well of this qualifier. They did play once on LAN this season, and Toronto got piss slammed 3-0 at Major 1. So, you know what? You know what I'm gonna say is if this series are tomorrow, I think I'm taking Toronto. But the thing is I think Toronto have to get this done not in Game 5 because I think there's a Game 5 protocol. I think they lose again. Actually, no, they beat him in a Game 5 protocol this stage. I take that back.
What are you gonna say, Cap?
I think Sunday, FaZe loses to Thieves, kind of fall apart, walk out in 3rd place. I think Ultra wins this.
Alley-oop? No.
Yeah, alley-ooped out of the fucking crib. What do you got, Chelly?
Oh man. I think I'm gonna go FaZe, bro. I know that's pretty square, but I think that I think FaZe get it done.
Hey Ben, did you pick FaZe?
No, I picked Toronto.
Oh, we got 2 Toronto on the tiebreak. Oh man.
Or we could put it up to chat, or we could ask Soap.
I poked Soap and Soap did not respond, so
let's go Toronto, man.
we saying 3-1 or are we saying Game 5er?
3-1.
Okay. I think FaZe are usually pretty good value. If they get doubled, they usually get at least try to squeeze out a Game 5 in this one.
Yeah, it's true.
We could do 5, sure.
I just, man, I don't see the way that FaZe's hardpoint is right now. I just don't see how LAN improves it. But sometimes we've seen, especially Tyler when he goes to LAN, just fucking level up into an absolute demon for about 90% of the tournament. So if he does that, if FaZe pull out and they're just world strong in hardpoint, like this is Thieves FaZe.
Listen,
sure.
It's really hard to win 4 LAN events in a row. All right, I can't imagine. But I do think that we see them in the final, and I think that that's just going to be all they talk about. Is this could be FaZe's 4th LAN event in a row, and we'll just talk about it. And I don't know. We'll see though.
I don't think they get there though, but.
Do you think FaZe wins the tournament, Chelly?
No, I don't. I think they get there, and I think they lose. I don't know. I really don't know if it's going to be Thieves. That's that. I love Thieves.
Bro, it has to be Thieves. The only way that Thieves don't get here is if they beat themselves. Everything, all the evidence that we have through like 2 splits is that they are an elite level team in all 3 game modes. If they lose, it's because of the issue we saw last split at times online. Their communication in this game that requires teamwork, especially in respawn, is just not up to par, and they leave gaps, they block out. And they make mistakes against teams now like a Toronto or Vancouver or Miami that take advantage when you don't play that cohesiveness.
That looked like he was about to tweak there.
I was about to tweak because Thieves have showed on LAN that they have potential to just not beat teams that they're better than. And that to me is scary. I haven't really seen that from FaZe.
FaZe usually beats the people they're supposed to be.
That's what I'm saying. So, but the fact that Thieves have showed me that they have that ability to troll again, not even if you want to call it trolling, but have those mental lapses on LAN against a Breach, and Ultra, teams that haven't leveled up or supposedly aren't on their level, that's scary to me. I can't confidently look at every single match the Thieves have in this major and say, you know what? Yeah, that's a 3-0 against Breach. You know what? That's a 3-0 against Ultra. We'll see them in grand finals.
Yeah, but hold on, Chelly.
No, that's fair.
But Chelly, how did? But how they lose both those series?
I don't know. That's but the fact that they.
I know for certain how they lost those series.
Oh, I thought you were saying how are they?
No, because you could tell in the listening that Thieves pulled up, and the fucking egos got in the way, and they were not going 110. If this Thieves team tries, the only team that's going to probably give them consistent trouble is Atlanta FaZe, and we saw that in Major 1 when both teams were going 110% when Game 7 round 11. I think everybody else. Try. I mean, bro, like
you have to assume, Chelly, that they will.
Yeah, I have to assume that like they have learned their lesson from last event.
You can't call for them to show up and not try at an event. You know what I mean?
Listen,
it's just as hard as picking.
This might sound fucking insane, and Cap and Sam, I need you to gut check me. This is stupid. Like and I said this yesterday on the show. Like if you're Thieves, I don't care, bro. Every single day we're the first team in the venue and the last team out. We're treating this like we've never been to LAN before. We want this to be our first one. We got to win this shit. Like. They should put all the egos aside and should be purely a focus on winning this shit. Because they do that.
That's the thing about bullshit. An ego. Like you don't like if you have an ego, you don't just you have an ego. Like you don't just put it to the side. Hard to do that.
Well, you can look at it objectively, even if you have an ego, and understand like the effort that you're putting forward as well, though. Like every competitor has an ego. It's essential in being a good competitor.
It is, but like if we're pinning the Major 2 on like they were too egotistical, like I don't know if that was like a major lesson learned just because they lost one event. It might like in their heads they're probably just like, oh, it was a fluke, that shit won't happen again.
If that's what
if that's what they drew from that event, I hope that they don't win this year.
Then they're fucked.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, that's what a lot of people in COD over the years do. When you're one of the top teams, you lose to a worse team. It's not like you have some reflection of like, yeah, I got better, but like, I don't know what the situation is. I'm just saying this.
If that happens, Cap. If that happens,
seem to be operating on this guarantee that like they're going to be going harder and that they lost last event because they didn't try. I hate that phrasing. By the way, I have to get it off my chest.
You could tell it. I hate it too. But listen, the listenings were a very picky.
You heard how they sounded.
Yeah.
They're fucking brain dead. I don't know.
I mean, it's bad, Cap. It was like, but it wasn't like
it was a genuine lack of effort, though. Like, what would you?
But
that's not like a blackout. That's not making you a wrong play. That's literally showing up and not competing.
I mean, that's something
you can control.
That's something deeper within that. Like, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. They weren't fucking trying. Like that, like the amount of effort that you're putting forward is something 100% in your control. There's a lot of day-to-day shit in Call of Duty, but the intensity in which that you are calling out and putting forward in your matches is 100% under your control.
You want to know some intel that I've gotten? You and people tell me this, and they won't say specific teams, but there are teams that I don't know if Thieves is one of them, but there are teams that will, no matter where they are in the tournament, if Friday's an off day, they're the first team in the venue. Like they don't give a fuck. They're in. They work hard. They get out. And there are teams that show up late, and like they clearly are thinking that they're just better than everybody. They're going to do minimal prep and they'll get it done. And it's like that effort, especially in a teamwork game like this, I think does fucking matter. It doesn't matter how much skill you have. Like if you're not going to come in and be 110, you heard the listenings. If you're not communicating what you have, what's open, people are going to hit gaps and they're going to force you to make mistakes. And that's how Thieves lose to a fucking team like Boston, who I think they should beat 9 out of 10 times they play. But I hear your point, Cap, like about, there's only so much you can do about the ego front. But I think if they like lose the way I think they would lose in this tournament, I think first off, Nate Shot is going to have a generational crash out. And I would love to know what Shane would say to the boys if that fucking happens.
There's some language that I can imagine that Shane would use.
Oh, it's not safe for a podcast, let me tell you. I know some words you can do.
For sure.
I know how Shane's going to act, but I just think that these are a team that just talent-wise, we've seen it online. They've only lost single-digit number of series. The only team that should consistently give them trouble is FaZe. Outside of that, they should really be handily, for the most part, beating everybody else.
I mean, Chelly, because this all wraps back to your point of like you can't comfortably predict Thieves to win based on what you've seen. Like, when you approach events or predictions like we just did, like what are you using to evaluate the matches then? Like you have to assume that everyone's going to be playing to like the level, right? You can't like it's like predicting what series metals is going to shit the bed. Like it's just a gut feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that like I don't even disagree with you at all. I think you're 100% correct, but it's just like when you're looking at shit like this, you have to be as objective as possible. I can't predict what like when Ernie's not going to try in a series, you know what I mean? It's just if I look at evaluate everything that I've seen online and using the majors from earlier this season, again, if FaZe is playing the way that they are, although I have 100% faith in them to turn up on lane because they always do, if we're looking at it objectively, this is the event for Thieves to show up and take. Like they've played the same from Major 2 to Major 3 online. They've been the same team. They have 1 loss total. They haven't regressed in any game modes. They've all stayed consistently performance-wise. This just it has the makings of their tournament. At least in my opinion. Who's to say that Vegas won't win the shit?
I was about to say, I thought Major 3 had the makings to beat Thieves tournament.
Maybe fucking Vegas will win the shit.
Listen, do we think Thieves get it done against Toronto? That's just 7-2
like points. 4-2, 4-1.
Yeah, 4-2.
I think 4-2 is fair, mostly because I think Thieves are a better controlled team than Toronto. I think Toronto's hardpoint strength gets neutered a little bit in a series like this. Was only 2 hardpoints. We've debated that before in an episode. And then the 3 searches, I mean, Thieves S&D right now is not being talked enough about how much influence.
It's lights out.
Load. Yeah.
It's lights out at the moment.
No, they're really good. The only map
it was also lights out pre-Major 2, and then they went back to that like Paco single challenge shit, and they weren't playing their mid rounds well, and like their 2v2s. A lot of their S&D regressed pretty heavily at the Major, which is something else that you can point to.
Who would you guys say between these two teams, on a player on either team, gets the biggest buff on LAN?
Toronto or Thieves?
It's out of Toronto and Thieves.
I don't think any of them.
Envoy.
I think they're all the same players.
You think Envoy?
Yeah.
Ben?
Dill's a good. Probably if I had to pick one, I would say Dill, but I think the rest of them are the same players. I think Scraps.
Someone said Joe. Joe is flying online. Like,
Joe's insane online. No, Joe's insane
I
online.
would say
I think Dill is probably the only acceptable answer. I don't think anyone else really
Dan,
levels up or
Dan
gets worse.
Ghosty is an interesting one. Listen, I'm not going to be the one to say it, but if Thieves don't win this event, we're going to have this Dan Ghosty. He would be 0-6 in finals.
Oh, if he loses the finals.
It would be, and again, a couple of those are like, you know what I'm saying? But
Listen, I love what Dan does for this team, not on the scoreboard, bro. Every time I hear them or every time I see what they're doing on the map, I love what Dan's doing. Even if it's not on the board, I don't give a fuck.
Well, any other final thoughts before we wrap up the bracket segment and do some questions?
No, sir.
Cool. I was gonna do Chelly's best bets, but I don't think
they're not even up.
They're not even up. I mean, just thinking about the first couple of series, though.
Yeah, I guess the first couple of series, shit. I was gonna say that OpTic Falcons hard points. Yeah. Just bang Pred more. He's gonna be dropping 35. Kyler's gonna be blacking out.
I mean, I would just say combo Les's Carolina.
Yeah,
that's probably pod. That's probably pod, right?
Yeah.
Fade Gwyn.
Yeah, fade Gwyn. Just fade the whole Carolina team, to be honest.
Can't fade Tej, bro. Tej was the only one that showed up for them last time they played on LAN.
So, all right. I was gonna do award predictions. I'm gonna save that for after this event, because I have some more pretty long. So we're just gonna do questions.
Rookie of the year and shit.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that next episode. I got a couple of questions. Shout out to everybody to respond on Twitter. There's a couple of good ones and one funny one. So let's get into it. I thought this was a pretty interesting first question coming in from OneCamp1. Oh, I got to move this across. Let me crop that real quick. L overlay. From OneCamp1, assuming this will happen, but where would you wish the CDL can host a major or champs at? Stadium, arena, and sold out. Seeing CDL's teams come out to Bernabeu with 80,000 fans would be dope. So I'm going to rephrase this question. Let's be realistic. Where would you want a major or champs at realistic location? Because the Bernabeu is
realistic is boring.
What do you want? The Trey in my chat to the Rose Bowl. SoFi.
That bitch is SoFi.
We're gonna eventually get a SoFi, bro. I'm telling you, League of Legends champs will eventually be at SoFi at some point.
Didn't Apex do like one in a stadium and it was really cool?
Apex did one in Japan. It was fucking
Japan.
It was so good,
bro. I heard the weather there was fucking nuts. I like it. It was taking like an hour to get from the player hotel to the venue because
it was so, bro. That event was so good.
Madison Square Garden would be cool.
MSG's just fucking
MSG would be
prohibitively
sick.
expensive. You know, Mini
MSG
makes an
would be
interesting
sick.
one. So this has been repeated.
But
This has
MSG
been
would be
mentioned
crazy.
before.
makes it cool.
This has been mentioned before. This is not new intel. It's been said before in stream. The year one of the CDL, there were conversations about doing an event on an aircraft carrier in San Diego.
Wait.
Yeah, you've never heard about this?
I've
On the
never heard
Carrier
about
Classic in NCAA college ball. I don't think it ever got far. I've talked to some owners about it. I don't think it ever got far, but I think there was some thought process about what if. It would have been kind of
The
cool.
Sphere. My chat's saying the Sphere. The Sphere would be cool.
The Sphere, the issue
would
with
be cool.
that is the screen would be the entire game. Would be the
Yeah, it'd be
Sphere.
like too much.
That would be weird to be breaking your neck trying to look at the mini
Yeah.
map.
The problem with the Sphere is you think Madison Square Garden's expensive, brother.
Oh yeah, no, it's not.
should
Yeah,
go-
of
you
course.
should go
We're
listen
not
to Dana
talking
White.
about logistics here, Benja.
Talk about Dana White's interview about when they played here for UFC.
MGM would be cool. Like actual, like semi-realistic MGM could be cool in Vegas.
MGM Arena in Vegas. We'll have
Yeah.
first go back to Vegas.
It could be cool.
Yo, wait, hold on. Imagine they did AT&T Stadium and the light was coming through in someone's eye.
Yes, bro. Tom's on stage, the fucking curtains blazing in his eyes.
He gets
Yeah,
absolute
man.
Jerry Jones cheese. That would be insane.
Oh god.
Fuck the Bernabeu. Got to be Wembley. I think I went to the tour of the new Bernabeu. I don't know about that.
What is that? Is that a football stadium?
In
I'm
Madrid.
assuming? Oh,
We'll
okay.
say in Madrid. Went saw a tour while we were there. I made you one. Cello 23 with this question. What can the org owners pro start doing now? I misspelled now. On finding a new third game mode for next year.
Nothing.
Nothing, literally.
Beg
It's
the
not up
devs
to
to
them.
put
Beg,
in.
yeah, get on your knees and beg.
Beg them to make jetpacks for an uplink game 3.
There's wall running next year.
I would say there's really two answers here. One
Maybe.
is have the actual conversation. I have floated the solution on just going to 2 game modes. In the third game mode in every series, either hardpoint or S&D, higher seed gets to choose. Okay? You can double searches or double hardpoints, whatever. I think that's the easiest non-thermal game mode solution. I don't think they would do it. They just beg the developers to put CTF or fucking uplink or some other shit in there.
I think that's way too
Uplink,
much
bro.
of an advantage.
Uplink
bro.
would be fucking
You know,
godlike.
like-
If you're a new viewer and you never saw Prime Uplink, man, if you thought the Clippers Nugget series is good, wait till you watch a fucking Uplink game.
I just don't know why they don't put CTF like in the game anymore. Like it just doesn't even exist.
There must be like nobody playing pubs.
That's what I'm saying. Like the mode,
It
it's not
must
even
be
that the mode
so
isn't
dead.
playable. It's that it doesn't exist, which is insane.
All right, couple more questions, and then Chad wants to go watch Rafi and Exceed crash out each other on stream. Remix with a good question. This I don't know about Challenger's bullshit. Does C9 shop around Sib or Cramp, or do they build around them? I think we answered this earlier, right? Well, I
They'll
guess
shot both of them.
Shop both of them.
Yeah,
here's what I would say.
So.
I think Dante will
I
get.
don't think there's a single player on this team that's on this team next year.
Mm,
You think they're gonna try to cut costs or?
I just think that they were willing to be in the run for more expensive teams this season, so I don't think that Jack is necessarily like throwing minimums. So I feel like if there's some sort of like duo trio, I think Sib is going to get poached, and Jack, like we said earlier, usually in other esports as well, he's not one to hold players. I think Sib is going to get poached to the next like third team, whatever mesh of players that becomes. I don't know if Kremp is good enough to have like similar as like an AG on Falcons where he brings talent to them. Unless Jack is just spending money and then like you're teaming with Kremp, kind of how LAT was with Dan. And then the other two I just don't think are good enough to maintain going forward.
I think they'd probably build around him after this year. I
That's
see your
what I was
logic.
gonna
Like, if Sib gets like the upgrade offer, but
I think he will.
I think they'll at least give Kremp the opportunity or the discussion and see who he can recruit over. Right, he's got a bunch of friends and there are people that he's played with and a bunch of upcoming challengers. They may go that squad. I just think the problem for C9 is they get kind of, if like 2 new Saudi teams are coming in, they're spending good coin. LAG want to improve on the season, they're spending coin. Vegas is going to move to tier 2 of their project and start recruiting people. OpTic have a lot of vacancies. It's just tough to see how the way that C9 spend esports right now, they don't become just destination, you know?
Yeah,
Just
I,
Kremp.
think I could see them becoming just like a mid-pack, like Minnesota Rocker kind of place.
So we'll see. And Trey in my chat saying Sib hasn't played well
No, I
enough
just
for an
laughed
OpTic
at that.
offer. I'm telling you, Trey, having talked about
Yeah,
this
Caesar
OpTic,
was fucking lights out.
all I'm saying, Trey, is if you go through the list of options that OpTic have, outside of trying to beg and plead for Ken to come back, like Dante's
Wait.
gonna be pretty high on that list.
Wait, like Trey Zero said that?
No, my friend, my
No.
mod. Trey.
I was about. Okay, I was
No,
about
Trey
to say, like,
Zero. Trey wouldn't feel high.
Yeah, he said
Who-
Sip hasn't played well enough for an OpTic offer, and I was thinking OpTic hasn't played well enough for an OpTic offer.
fucking hell.
Oh, that's fucked.
Played well enough for an OpTic offer is insane considering that team is dirt. I don't like played well enough are all players that are essentially unattainable as well. OpTic is not going to, unless they throw out crazy money and work with orgs to buy out these players. OpTic's not just going to walk on to a team and buy whoever they want to get. Like they're not just going to go get Joe. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I just don't see that happening.
Bro, Sam is preying on OpTic's downfall, so he
No,
will not
I'm
be on
not.
the worst
I'm not
OpTic
preying
team of
on
all
their
time.
downfall, but like this is how the shit works, and these OpTic fans think that they could just go get whoever the fuck they want whenever they want to. That's just not how the shit works.
I think pretty much outside the only time that OpTic are going to have recruitment problems is if one unlikely scenario when these orgs is offering like 200% level of cash, two, like Atlanta FaZe wants to fill a spot on their team, or three, like, I don't know, they have pre-existing beef with somebody and there's just personality things. Outside that, I think everybody pretty much takes the OpTic offer. I don't think Zin was wrong with that take a while back. I think Zach was the worst person to make that take about, though.
Oh, when you get it, you should take it.
Yeah, because that Zach situation was the one situation, knowing draws, that like he doesn't give a fuck. It's about winning, and FaZe was, I think, potentially the better spot for that. So, all right, last question, and this one comes from my guy Joe Thieves. Why can't Cap kill me now, and why wouldn't he kill me even in his prime? I'm gonna let you take this one, Cap. What are your thoughts on what Joey D's saying here on Twitter?
Guy is a child. He was in diapers when I was in my prime, so useless conversation. And then his follow-up tweet, oh my God, Dan Ghosty has all these old screenshots when he was like 13 years old playing AW against everyone.
Yeah, he says that was in his book.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying.
He has
Fuck,
all
was he
these
serial
old
killer?
Bro,
screenshots
no,
of
Dan says he has like a book of screenshots of like just scoreboards from AW of,
Is he a
of him
fucking
just like
serial
Dude,
killer?
Dude, when I was
like
13,
shitting
I
on
dropped
people.
40 on you on Solar Hardpoint. Dan, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I was like, bro, I don't know what. That's the first thing he said to me whenever I started talking to him when he joined OpTic. He's like, bro, I have this screenshot. I was like, what the fuck are you saying right now, bro? What are you talking about?
Fucking.
It was hilarious.
Anyway, Cab, you probably disagree, right?
Oh,
You
my
probably
reply
clipped
was
the
good
fuck out
there.
of
You like
Joe.
that reply?
Is there any game outside of the titles that you competed in? Are there any games you think Joe would have gone to in, or you think he's
I'm not giving Joe any gas anymore.
Modern for 2019? You're not giving him gas in that one?
No. I've given him enough gas. Joe is my child. I'm actually a big Joe fan. I've said that. I've harped on this
whole
many
podcast
times
is
on
big
here,
Joe. We're
other
all big Joe fans here.
convos, but I don't need to give him any more gas.
Well, I think that's a good way to end it. Shit talking my guy Joe DeSeeds. We'll see if Toronto Ultra can win Major 3, but would you guys think there's probably 4 teams that could probably win this event, maybe a 5th if you really think about it? It's pretty wide open. Essentially.
What percentage chance would you guys give a non-LA Thieves or FaZe team to win?
25.
Really?
I don't know if I'd give it that high.
I don't know.
25 seems
spitball.
pretty high.
1 out of 4 tournaments, someone besides them wins. Maybe a little lower. Maybe 15.
I don't know, man. Toronto, Vancouver have been looking good. Miami, if Metals is there, fuck.
No, I'm paying 4-1, bro. To be honest, give him 20%.
That's kind of where I was at, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless.
I think it's 41. Anyway, we'll close out there. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be back next week with the recap from the tournament, probably some off-season or roster change thoughts. We'll preview right away. Split 4 matches start right away after that. And then we'll probably talk a little early awards convo there. So make sure you guys tune into that. Follow everybody on social media. We'll include their information in the bio of the YouTube video. Make sure you follow and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you all so much.